what are your thoughts on tonight's outcome?
I think that the county board made a wise decision. I think that they took into account a range of options, none of which were what people really wanted. They were all difficult options, and I think they selected one that represents the interests of the people of Marathon County best.
There were two amendments that were brought up, one for a 5-year sunset and one for a year sunset. Did you think that they should have passed either one?
I really don't have an opinion on either one. I think in 1 year we'd be having the same discussion because I don't think enough would have changed. What happens in 5 years, I don't know. Whether the board wants to earmark it and talk about it again, I'm fine with that. I think that it should be constantly revisited. I think all of our revenue sources and all of our expenditures should be constantly revisited. We have a lot of them, though. We have a $170 million budget. So, I think we should actually have a calendar and take a look at all of our major investment let me say that again, all our major expenditures and our revenue sources and constantly be reviewing them and probably on some kind of a regular calendar so we're doing one every 3 months rather than being overwhelmed by trying to do it all at once.
Is it a sense of relief with budget now?
Oh, it's going to get a lot easier to put together a budget with $3 million more because, what the real choices we're going to come down to would be to borrow or to cut programs. Borrowing is just the same thing as taxing, other than you have to pay interest too. Would have raised the property tax rate and would have been paid for by property instead of vehicles, which makes it one step further away from the source of the need to invest in the infrastructure. But for most people, it work out to be the same amount of money. It's just a matter of how you do it. And the interest rates, we're going to pay lower interest rates than, say, somebody privately borrowing, certainly less than consumer credit, but it's an extra % on a big number.
What do you make of some of the concerns voiced in there that now that there's no sunset date for this, this tax is just going to keep getting reinstated and, people are going to forget about it or not address it and, it'll keep,
Well, I hope
keep.
that's not true. I mean, they have board leadership. Their job is to stay current on issues. If conditions change, take a look at it. I think that it will be revisited on a regular basis, but as long as the conditions are the same, and we have this huge public infrastructure that needs maintenance to make sure that we get the best value out of that, I think you're going to see it continue as part of our taxing package. Where I think it could change is if there was a change in the gas tax, and we now started to get more revenue rather than less revenue from the state of Wisconsin.
How important was tonight's vote?
That was an important vote. It was an important vote. It was an important public policy discussion that they had. That's why they wanted to come and hear the public and see what people had thought. I had a number of discussions with people because in our public newsletter, I had both that fact sheet that I had prepared, frequently asked questions, and a discussion about why public input was important. And some people called me to clarify points in that. There's no point in telling me their position because I don't have a vote. But when they really understood the full picture, that it was really going to come down to wheel tax or borrowing or cutting services, most of them decided that, I think we'll leave it to the board. And those are hard decisions. I thought it was going to be an easy answer, and it turned out that when you see it in the full context of the county budget and the county infrastructure, it's a more complicated question. And really, I think most people thought, I'll defer to the people who spend the most time studying this. That's why I thought, I don't know why you didn't see a big group of people here to discuss or give input, but I think people recognize the information has been freely shared, and I had it out a couple of weeks ahead of time. It was on our website. We've talked about this. Board members have communicated with people, and I think they decided, we asked people to represent us, and we'll go with their best judgment.
With no sunset date on this, how long do you think the wheel tax could go on for?
Well, the county sales tax has lasted since 1987. So how long could it go on for? I think it could go on for 30 years.
So there's really no way of answering it?
No, there's no way of answering it. It's going to be reevaluated if and when we get more gas tax money. I think that's going to be the next checkpoint.